I've been in church my whole life. Like, I could count on both hands how many Sundays I've missed at church in my entire life. It was all just information. And it was information and information and information. And it wasn't until I actually had an encounter with Jesus that that transformation happened in my life. All that information that had been, crammed into my ears and I've been reading and, studying about, it was like it instantly became revelation in my life. And all of that stuff up until the point when I had an encounter with Jesus, it just came to truth and it came to realness and it just empowered me. And I was like, I got to do something with this. I can't just let Jesus change my life and then go on living a normal life. I mean, he changed me radically. He changed me from the inside out, and I have to tell the world about it. I didn't have the roughest childhood, but I was in a family with 6 kids, and my parents got divorced when I was about 9 years old, and it was this long drawn out divorce that was very wearing on me, and it affected me greatly. And so when it was all done and over with, I started skateboarding. I started drinking at age 12, and was moved to England, moved to Texas, moved to Florida, and then that's when I discovered my love for money. For me, I did whatever I could to get money, and I started selling drugs, and not this little nickel and dime stuff. I mean, it was just massive amounts, and I don't even know how I got there. It just happened, and before I knew it, I'm this teenage kid with $4,000 in my pocket at all times and doing whatever I wanted to do, whenever I want. And all through that, through drug dealing and through just being drunk and stoned and all of this stuff, I was still going to church every Sunday, was still reading my Bible nearly every day, still maintaining, a prayer life with God, because I knew what was real. I knew what was true. I knew that Jesus died on the cross. I knew that he took my sin with him when he died. And I knew that when he rose again, that was new life for me. Knowing all of this, I just kind of compartmentalized my life. I was like, okay, God has all of this, but the money and the drug dealing and the drinking and all of that stuff, that was mine. And so, I had all my Christian friends. I even played drums, in the worship band as I was, just fully engaged in drug dealing. I was the drummer for our worship band at our church. And I would always tell people about Jesus all the time. Everywhere I went, I would always be telling people about Jesus. Meanwhile, still, slinging stuff and making ridiculous amounts of money doing what I was doing. That's all we needed. It came to a point where the last couple of years of that job that I had, I became an insomniac for just over 2 years. That insomnia gave birth to paranoia. That paranoia just gave me no rest and no peace. And nothing about my life was peaceful. I got to the point where I was pretty much backed into a corner. And I was like, because I knew what truth was. I knew that God was real. And every time I'd read the Bible, I'd read stuff about my life, and I just kind of flipped through it like, I don't know if I agree with, all right, I like this, I don't like that, okay, yeah, this is good. And I would just, kind of make Christianity fit my needs. That was where the struggle between peace and no peace just didn't happen. When I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I give up, I'm done, I can't live like this anymore, my life changed like that. When I was in the church playing drums, as the worship band, I was very much became good friends with the worship leader. And, we would get together, we would pray together, we would do Bible studies, we would, go get breakfast. And it just came to the point where our relationship was growing and we were being so real with each other that I could not be false with him anymore. I could not lie to him. And so one day when we were at lunch, it was him and his wife, and I wasn't even expecting to tell him. It was just, my heart was pounding so hard, and he was actually standing up to get up because we had already paid the bill and he was ready to go. And as he stood up, I was like, Steve, you gotta sit down. I was like, I gotta tell you something. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. What's going on? And I was like, well, I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just gonna say it. I was like, I'm a drug dealer. And I have been for the last 8 years. That was actually the day when everything started moving up, because, you know, not everything stopped immediately. It was still, you know, about a 2-month process from me telling him that me just reaching out saying I want out. It was about a 2-month process for me to fully get out of that whole lifestyle. But everything came together. I mean, I ended up getting 2 jobs. I ended up getting a roommate. I mean, I was never late on any of my bills, and my cost of living was ridiculous at that time. And so, you know, I was just like, God just provided everything that I needed and just made it happen. And even looking back now, reflecting, you know, it was nothing short of a miracle, all of that happening. And one of the biggest miracles of it all is that I had never gotten into any physical harm, you know, as far as my life being in danger or getting beat up or money stolen or, you know, all this stuff. And I'd never had any hassle from the police or going to jail or going to prison or, you know, any of that stuff, because that's where I should be. I should be in prison right now or 6 feet under. You know, I mean, with that type of a lifestyle, it's just, you know, there's only one way it ends up, one of 2 ways. And thank God that he that he was pursuing my heart, because, you know, it worked.
Alright, that's good. Dave, when you getting yourself a van anyway?
I know, Dave, get yourself a van, man.
I'm gonna get one.
Get your life sorted.
When you
out,
going
Dave.
home?
August
The what?
Thank God.
13th.
Thank God for that, man. That's like a month.
This is the love that I got here in Scotland.
Oh, that's a month tomorrow, man. Gutted.